My husband's girlfriend lives with us. At first, it was meant to be temporary, but they now want to do this forever. Hi, everyone. So my husband, M33, and I, F34, have been together for 12 years and married for 7. We also have a kid who is 2. My husband has been open about the fact that some of his previous relationships were poly, and we have always been open to general, ethical non-monogamy. For example, we used to go to cuddle parties together and other examples. Fast forward to about 6 months ago when a friend of his came to the end of her marriage and quite urgently needed somewhere to stay, so we took her in. That was all well and good at first, and they were very close, but so were the 3 of us. There were nights when we all slept in the same bed because she couldn't face sleeping on her own. There were also nights when my husband slept in the bed with her at my suggestion because, again, she couldn't handle sleeping alone, but I struggled to share a bed with 3 of us just because of space. However, the topic of poly did come up a bit further down the line as a genuine option, and so they started spending every Friday night together, and honestly, I was and am genuinely happy with this. This started as a nominally FWB thing, but naturally progressed into a relationship. I honestly don't think I have any issue with him seeing her, but the problem I am facing is that they want to live as a 3 forever. Get a bigger house and do this permanently, and I can't tell you why, but I'm really uncomfortable about permanently sharing my space like this. On the other hand, my husband's mental health has always been really bad, but since my meta has lived here, and there have been more of us around it, has been a lot better, so I really don't want to take this away from him. Really don't want to. So I have to find some way towards happiness for myself in this. Even though I work from home and they both work out of the house, I never feel like I'm on my own anymore somehow, because wherever I look there are reminders that it's the 3 of us now, so I just feel permanently not at ease in my own home, and I don't know how to get past that. Also, she really wants us to move house so that we can have somewhere bigger, but also so that it doesn't feel like our house that she's then living in rather than something we share as equals. And I really don't want to transition to having potentially less time with my husband than I do now. At the moment, he's in my bed 4 nights a week, in her bed for 2 nights, and then we share the bed 1 night, all 3 of us. We bought a bigger bed so we could do this. It has to be said, I really like my meta a lot of the time, and one of my hopes is that if she and I work on our relationship and get closer, this will get easier for me. But at the moment, I'm losing the home I thought I would grow old in, and I am worried I am losing half my husband. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I am so worried right now. Relevant comments. Commenter. I can't tell you why, but I'm really uncomfortable about permanently sharing my space like this. Not that you need a reason for not having someone else move into your home, but unless I'm reading things wrong, it seems they kind of assumed it'd happen instead of asking how you'd feel about a roommate. This also doesn't seem like a good idea anyways. They've only been together for a short time, so not only would moving not be sound, but she just got out of a marriage. If you're worried about your husband needing to split time between you two, that is a reality of having multiple relationships. Is that something you feel you'd be okay with? Because this all just seemed to happen, and I'm wondering if you ever had the time to truly consider if this is right for you. Oh, I'm under a lot of pressure to make this work for me. My husband has not ever been truly happy in a long while, and having both of us around has transformed his mental health. I've expressed my worry that just swapping around which of us is unhappy isn't progress, even acknowledging that I'm not as unhappy as he was, but long term, might I be? But there doesn't seem to be a middle ground he can consider. I'm hoping some support from a poly-friendly therapist will help us to articulate our needs and find a workable middle ground. Commenter. Your husband's happiness shouldn't be so dependent on everyone cohabiting TBH. Of course, he's happy right now. Him lending a friend a helping hand out of their marriage ended up with him having a live-in girlfriend with his wife's permission. Not that he shouldn't rely on those close to him. I have mental issues myself, but it's not your or your meta's job to keep him well, especially when it's at the cost of your happiness. A good husband, partner, person would understand that, depressed or not. Also, neither of you should be playing the oppression Olympics, not the most apt term, but a no. Don't think about who's less happy than the other. Your husband's mental health needs treatment, not another partner in a complex and unplanned living situation. At the end of the day, it's the home you share with your husband and your child. This should always be a 2 yes, 1 no sort of situation. You have the right to choose who lives with you. Commenter. Unfortunately, it really seems like you're at an impasse here. Have you made it clear that you're not interested in this to your husband? Oh, I have really tried, but he's very clear that this is absolutely what he has needed for a long time. Not just being poly fine, but also us all living together. I think I've at least got across my very strong reservations, and we are now going to try putting everything we have into how we can genuinely make this work. Seeing a poly-friendly therapist together, as a 3 as well, as in our various pairs including me and my meta, and doing the work to find a balance of together and separate bits of life that actually works for us. Commenter. What about your needs, though? Oh, I really want to learn to compromise. There are a lot of ways I've got my own way over the years, and it's fair that I at least give this my best shot. Commenter. But why are you the only one compromising? Oh, I don't know. I really need to find ways to stand my ground. Everything gets turned around on me when we start talking about it, so I think I may genuinely need the therapist to help me communicate here. And to a deleted reply. She's been living here for 6 months already, since before they got together. Update. Cohabiting just got harder and harder, and I was getting less and less of my husband's love, attention, and even compassion. Friend and bought a house, and husband was going to love there too, then 3, then even 5 nights a week. Nothing I said was right anymore. I was the villain, apparently uncompassionate, selfish, a bad communicator, not seeing it from husband's or friend's point of view. Increasingly excluded in my own life. And unsurprisingly, about 6 weeks ago, husband ended our marriage. Ostensibly for other reasons about our relationship, but it may surprise you not at all to learn that he is now moving in with friend in a house she has bought, and that I am not now on speaking terms with her at all after some increasingly manipulative behavior from both of them, but especially her. Update. In the end, my husband broke up with me, ostensibly not because of me not wanting to be poly, but I mean it absolutely was that. His GF is hugely manipulative, and had swung him from being deeply in love with me to completely not, and thinking I'm a terrible person within the space of a year. I've got my faults to be sure, but I didn't deserve any of this. I've been doing a lot of work on myself to identify and understand what happened to me and the way they abused and manipulated me. Part of me is also concerned that the GF is also effectively doing the same to my ex, but that's his problem, not mine. I've recently met the GF's monogamous ex, and that's been eye-opening. It feels like she's got a playbook. She's treated her ex badly, and did similar to me, and debatably to my ex. My ex has also been quite controlling over the years. I'm so much healthier out of this situation, and it's better for me. I'm heartbroken for losing what I thought was a happy marriage, and for being so disillusioned about what I thought we had. This has really pulled the wool from my eyes. And it's awful being away from my very small kids half the time. I'm hyper-vigilant about their welfare, and I'm so worried for them, but they seem to be okay. In short, I have to accept that some of you are happy and healthy in good poly relationships, but if that's not your experience, if it's being used by your partner or their partner to have their cake and eat it, if you're not happy, listen to your gut, to your heart, to your friends. Get out. The sooner you escape, the less, I hope, you might get hurt. Relevant comments. Comment. I'm sorry you were treated that way. Out of curiosity, when folks told you on that post that this wasn't a good idea, and that your situation didn't seem healthy and sustainable, did that help or hurt? Did you feel like all the happily polyam people telling you that this had red flags prepared you for the end? I ask because I want this sub to be as helpful to folks like you as possible, and wonder what we could be doing better. I think it helped. It started to validate for me that the way I was feeling was okay, that I wasn't wrong to feel like this wasn't working. What I couldn't do was address that in a way that my ex or his GF would ever be equipped to listen to. They couldn't and still can't see the impact of their actions or understand that they've done anything wrong. I think Reddit posts advising caution, rather than straight up, leave him now, were the most helpful. Those that came alongside me and engaged with what I was experiencing and feeling. So that sounds really difficult, and I'm wondering if you have realized that some of these are big red flags, such as responses that were nuanced. But nothing in the known universe is going to make someone like my ex or his GF listen when they don't want to. So nothing in the comments section could have changed anything, but it did really help to feel less like I was losing my mind and less like I was on my own. Thank you. Commenter. Oh, I remember your post. Sad face. I think everyone here could see the red flags with both of them, but I'm so sorry it had to end this way. It's not fun realizing you were disillusioned, and you two were together for so long. I wish you only happiness and healing as you embark on this new chapter in your life, Blackheart. Oh, thank you. It's weird reading the comments now, and seeing so much more clearly the lack of respect he and she were treating me with. It's awful. I'm doing a lot of work and giving myself time to be on my own and do the learning, to make sure I don't let anyone treat me like that again. Storyt. Am I the a-hole for losing it on my husband and mother-in-law after she hit our son? I'm female 30, and my husband is 29. We have a 3-year-old son. He is from South America. I'll call him Juan. He came to my country as an immigrant and can now stay permanently if he wants to. I've only met my mother-in-law in person on the day of our wedding, and she seemed like a nice old Latin lady. I'll call her Maria. She recently came to the country for a few weeks. Juan invited her, so she could meet our son and see the wonders of our country, like gray skies and old buildings and old people. She absolutely loved our son and was so happy to see him and play with him. Everything went well, but one day I left him with her for a moment while Juan and I went shopping for dinner. We were out for less than half an hour, and when we came back our son was crying and came running to me as soon as he saw me come through the door. I asked Maria what had happened, and she said he was misbehaving, so I hit him with a spoon and he started to cry. I couldn't believe what she had said, so I asked her to repeat it, and she did, saying it as if she was proud of it. I asked her why she was so proud of hitting my son. She said she only hit him once, as if that was better. This started an argument. She said that children need to be hit once in a while, or they'll become delinquents. She said that all her children were regularly hit with spoons or sandals, and they all turned out fine. I couldn't stand it, so I told her to get out. She could stay in a hotel that wouldn't let her near my son again. She was so angry and started insulting me in Spanish, which I only half understood. It took me 3 hours to get her out of the house. Then I continued to argue with Juan because he said nothing the whole time. He said he didn't like it, but it was true that they turned out well. I said corporal punishment is never okay, but that made him angry. He said, I challenge you to find a single mama Latina who has never hit her children, not even once. But that's the way we were brought up, because otherwise we would have become weak men. And then he went on to say that I was suggesting that an entire culture of millions of people had been brought up wrong, and that was racist. That is the short version, because we ended up arguing most of the night. I didn't let Maria see our son until I went back to her country, and Juan went to sleep with a friend. All my friends put it down to culture shock, and that I'm crazy to die on that hill, and Juan is still very angry with me. So am I the a-hole and racist. Edit. Thanks all for your support. Thanks for clarifying it isn't a cultural thing. Yes, there is older people in my own country who still defend corporal punishment, but am inciting that this is a cultural thing and therefore shouldn't criticize it was bullocks. I try to contact him to talk, but he keeps leaving me on read while uploading stories at a pub at the same time. I'm furious, honestly, but I'll see what I can do. Ada has no consensus bot. OP was NTA. Top comments. Commenter 1. NTA. It's not a race issue. My Eastern European mother would do the same. Just because that's the way it always was doesn't make it any less abusive. You need to talk to your husband about how you want to parent your son. It sounds like you haven't had a resort to hitting so far, so why start now? Just because your MIL is incapable of managing a toddler? Commenter 2. Has anyone explained to one that OP is not a mama Latina, and this is not how children are raised today? It has nothing to do with an entire culture being brought up wrong. The child is 3. He's only met this grandmother recently, and she conks him with a spoon. Great way to get to know your grandmother. Commenter 3. He was pretty quick to call you racist because you disagreed with something. That's so BS. It comes across as very manipulative. NTA. Update. 4 months later. Hi, everyone. It's been a while. I had forgotten about this account, but I was cleaning this computer before selling it, and I was still logged in. So on my last post, my MIL came in to visit our country. MIL and my husband want her from South America. We left her alone with the baby for a moment, only find out she had hit him because he was behaving like a baby. My husband defended her and called me racist because, according to him, every Latin American parent hits their kids, and it's okay, but it's not okay with me at all. So the situation kept going on for a while. This became a huge issue in our marriage. And then Juan confessed that he had also hit our son when I wasn't home. He believes that is the only way to discipline a child, and that gentle parenting doesn't work. That was it for me. The problems got bigger and bigger while he kept insisting that this way of parenting is the reason why Latin Americans are more resilient than northern countries, and that people in here are too soft and sensitive. We started fighting every single day. And then I just asked for a divorce. After that, he became so verbally violent that now we communicate through lawyers only. I have plenty of evidence of him confessing to hitting our son, while he in his testimonies confirms it, but says, is not that serious. This is stressful, and I'm not doing well, so I have to sell a few things to pay for bills and debts. I'm going for full custody while he is doing the same, claiming that I'm an unfit mother for not teaching our son discipline. Well, enough with my drama. I have to go and do something else. Thanks, everyone. I wasn't expecting so many people to read this, but wow. Thanks, everyone. To be clear, my husband wasn't beating our son in a way that could put his life in danger, but for example, wrapping a spoon in clothes so when it hits, still hurts but leaves no marks on the skin. He described this to me as a way to make me see that is not that serious, but is still unacceptable. This is not an attempt to make Latin people look like abusive parents, but one really thinks that because growing up he normalized it, he really thinks that everybody does it, and the people who wasn't raised that way are weak. And yes, we had talked about how to raise our child, but I always thought that not hitting them ever was obvious. I'm not sure when I might update with something important. I don't even have a court date yet, so it will take a while, but I'll be reading your comments. Edit 2. Thanks for all of your support, but I can't keep reading your stories of child abuse. I'm so sorry. I'm glad the majority of you are doing better now, but I just can't keep reading them. It's actually making me feel so bad. That's the downside of having empathy. Sorry. Top comments. Commenter 1. Thanks for standing up for your kid. You're a good mother. Your husband is an ass, to say the least. I have a Latina mother and she never even attempted to hit me once in my first 20 years of life. I moved to a different country when I got married and actually defended me when my dad was about to hit me when I was around 7 to 8. Hitting oftentimes create adults with a lot of stress, anxiety, and fear to voice out their feelings. Commenter 2. NTA. Hitting a baby is never okay. They can't learn discipline at that stage, only fear and pain. You're doing the right thing, OP. Commenter 3. Exactly. Childhood abuse and trauma create scars that are evident even in adulthood. You are doing right by your child. Good job. Commenter 4. Stay strong. You're doing the right thing for your son. Story 3. Is it rude to ask someone to lose weight for a wedding? My friend, 33 female, is a personal trainer and just got engaged to another personal trainer. All of their friends were met through the gym they both work at. I have known her since we were both 5. I am not a personal trainer. IA, US size 10. So I'm not obese, but I'm definitely on the fatter size. I'm very comfortable with who I am, and my doctor is too. Well, tonight, she called me with the best news. Her fiancé and her are putting together a great workout and meal plan together for me. They figure if I drop 20 to 30 pounds, the wedding pictures will be more symmetric. She was so happy and excited, like she was doing me a favor. I wasn't even sure what to say, so I just hung up and haven't responded. I completely flabbergasted. This isn't a situation where I constantly bitch about my weight and then get mad when someone offers to help. I've never asked for help. I've never mentioned wanting to lose weight. They both just kind of took it upon themselves to help me. Obviously, I'm going to opt out of being her maid of honor, but at this point, I'm not even sure I want to go now. Why would anyone think this was okay? I honestly have no idea how to discuss this with her. I feel like it's much more the fiancé than her. Relevant comments. Commenter. Call her back and tell her you thought about her symmetry issue and have decided you can just be in the center of every picture to make it even. No weight loss needed. Comment. She should be to your left and the husband to the right. Douche on both sides is symmetric. Commenter. What the actual fuck? No, that's not okay. A real friend would never ask that of you either. Oh, that's why I'm so flabbergasted. I've been best friends with her since I was 5. Almost 30 years, and either the fiancé is a lot more controlling than I realized, or she's not the friend I thought she was. Comment. So they care about symmetrics more than the friendship? All about image, no friend. I decline to participate. That is so callous and inappropriate of them. But you sure sound like a great friend, OP. Oh, I texted her last exactly what I thought, and said not to waste money on sending me an invite. We'll be busy that weekend. My husband wants to get a sitter and find a nude beach someone to show me off in, comment. What did she say back to this? We need updates. Oh, happy cake day. Honestly, I have 47 unread texts now and a voicemail saying she made the front page of Reddit, and that's not what she meant. So much for a throwaway account. LOL. But to answer your question, I have no idea. I choose to walk away for a few hours to make sure I handle everything with a completely calm head. Comment. They figure if I drop 20 to 30 pounds, the wedding pictures will be more symmetric. Oh, for comment. Seriously, fuck her so much. This is such an asshole move. I am so shocked that this trainer friend thought this was remotely okay. Commenter. Trainers and elite athletes are the worst for this, though. They're just trying to help, and they see it as the same as a friend with a truck helping you move. They have something, you need something, so of course they'll help. They have no idea how condescending and judgmental it sounds. As if we are such idiots we did not think to try eating healthy and exercising without them suggesting it. I am surrounded by elite runners in my life, and I guess I'm a bit bitter about people endlessly trying to get me to run because they're just trying to help. Oh, I texted her last night, and she tried to say she really thought I was just too embarrassed to ask for help, and this was the time to do it. So I told her not to waste money on sending me an official invite, and it was time to find a new maid of honor. Commenter. That's like a drug counselor thinking you were too embarrassed to ask for help with the meth problem you don't have. Oh, OMG, I need to tell her this rolling on the floor laughing. Update. So, while that post blew up, I ended up deleting it because my friend lost business over it. She had told a few of her close clients her plan. When it blew up and ended up on FB via different news outlets, they were able to put 2 and 2 together. They decided they didn't want her to be their PT any longer. That was never, ever my intention. Although I feel bad, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Anyways, her and I talked in length. She admitted her true motivation was having before my wedding photos, and after pictures, her wedding, of a normal mom transformed into a fit mom. She was also planning on having crop top dresses. After 3 pregnancies, my abs are quite separated, and she wanted to help. She realized her motivations were selfish. She knew I would decline, so she had hoped presented this way, I would do it for her. But yeah, her concern was never my health. She admitted that multiple times. To address a few things, $2,500 plane tickets were for a family of 5. I've also never hinted at wanting to lose weight. She knows I'm very comfortable with who I am. Also my doctor is very happy with where I stand. I receive many very strange messages and comments telling me my doctor is lying to me. I can assure you my doctor would make a lot more money telling me I was fat and needing to run extra tests. So he's not going to lie about my health. That's about the exact opposite of what a doctor does. My husband is not a sexist pig for saying he wanted to show me off at a nude beach. He's my biggest supporter. He just meant that I don't need to hide, and I'm beautiful the way I am. The fiancé wasn't behind this. But he's pissed that I wouldn't just do it for her. He literally said, "Tell her anything over a size, for it's disgusting," in the background when I spoke to her. So good luck with your winner there. After we spoke, I have decided that just I'm going to go to the wedding and not be in the wedding. My family will stay home. She feels terrible, but we've been friends for almost 30 years. I'm also not going to fly out for her showers and bachelorette, which I would have done otherwise. This really put our friendship in perspective for me. She had stepped back a little since she got serious with her fiancé, and I didn't realize the extent of it. He has some strong views on hating anyone over size for, and I realized she's slowly picked these up as well. I have no idea what the friendship holds after this, but I still want to be there to cheer her on for the wedding. But I don't have to be immersed in every aspect. Relevant comments. Commenter. I have decided that just I'm going to go to the wedding. Wow. All I can say is that you are a way nicer person than me. Because if the original proposition wasn't enough to end friendship, finding out I'd been made the centerpiece of a promotional campaign without any input on my part would have sealed the deal. Oh, I'm trying to be the bigger, person here. Honestly, this may be the beginning of the end of our friendship altogether. Or we may be friends for another 30 years. I want to go, just in case we do end up getting closer again. If we don't, it's a weekend in my hometown with no kids and free booze. Woman shrugging medium light skin tone. Commenter. What about the $2,500 in plane tickets? Oh, only I'm going, so it's only $500 for my ticket. Plus, if it's just me, I have places I can stay without putting people out. Don't have to rent a car to accommodate everyone. Commenter. He has some strong views on hating anyone over size for, and I realized she slowly picked these up as well. As someone who's very much into powerlifting and looking good, absolutely fuck this guy. He's an utter and complete douchebag. Oh, I feel like douchebag is the nicest term I would use for him. I didn't think about it until all of this cake up, but the last few times I visited her at her house, she was dressed to the nines and a full face of makeup every second. When she visited me without him, I don't think she wore anything but yoga pants and her hair up. So there's a lot going on there. Commenter. Thanks for the update, and I hope you're able to be there when her marriage to this jerk disintegrates. Oh, this was a main reason I want to go to the wedding. He may not have spearheaded this, but his ideals are definitely a factor. If she gains weight during a pregnancy or something, I have a feeling he'll be less than supportive. If this all crumbles, I want her to know I'll still be there. If you knew her before him, this whole thing would have been shocking to you. So there's still hope she'll find herself again. Story 4. Am I the a-hole if I decide to contact my estranged son? So I am a 42 years old dad, and I have a wife, let's call her Amanda. We have 2 sons together, let's call them Wyatt, 20 years old, and William, 18. The thing is, since my oldest turned 18, we have been no contact. To make it simple, on his 18th birthday, we had planned a party, but when we got home, he was nowhere to be found. Most of his stuff was gone. My son moved out at 18. We didn't know why, and it's been 2 years. He's blocked us all, even his little brother, whom he was so close just the day before leaving. It's tearing the family apart. Amanda still cries herself to sleep sometimes. William is a shell of himself, and so am I. He isn't staying at extended family's house, so until now we really had no clue where he was. But last night, I was at a restaurant with coworkers when I saw one of his high school friends. We started talking about it. He saw how desperate and heartbroken I was still 2 years after, and I guess out of guilt, he actually told me what happened. Basically, we are from Idaho, and he moved to Seattle for a fresh start. Apparently, my son is gay, and he preferred to cut contact with us instead of coming out to us, and then supposedly being disowned. He apparently said he believed we would prefer to have no son at all than a gay son. And I mean, I understand where he is coming from. Living in a small town in Idaho, where everyone knows each other and goes to church, I get why someone like him would be so scared to be true to himself here. But I'm going to be honest. I don't care. It was a shock, sure, a hard pill to swallow. I've even showed homophobic behavior before, but when it comes to Wyatt, I realized I just don't care. I just want him to be happy. I just want my son back. I spent the whole day trying to find his Instagram, and I actually did. I want to tell him how much I love him, and that I don't care. But I don't know if he would like that. He left for a reason. AITA if I contact him. Also, I didn't tell my wife, William, or everyone else. Should I? Ada has no consensus bot. OP received the majority of YTAs. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Sadly, YTA. Why would you think your son would feel comfortable coming out to you if you have been homophobic before? And I have news for you. Being homophobic, but not when it applies to your own son, makes you even worse in my eyes. Anyone who feels fine hating on somebody else's child, but changing your tune when it's your own speaks to your lack of character. Your son left hoping for a better life. Leave him alone and hope he has found it. If he ever wants to contact you again, let be his decision. I think you should tell your wife and your other son. William should know why his brother left, so he doesn't feel any guilt about it. OP. Thanks for the harsh but necessary truth. I will work on myself. This whole ordeal has made me realize what kind of person I am, and I don't like it. Also, I will tell my wife and son tonight. OP responds to multiple comments on needing to do better for his estranged son. OP. I am willing to change for my son because I love him so much. I believe that his decision made me realize how much I failed as a dad, and I owe him this. I'm truly ashamed he felt he had to cut contact to be himself. So yes, I will accept him. Thanks so much. Commenter 2. So, here's the thing. You created an environment where your child did not feel safe. In fact, he felt so unsafe that he left without even a whisper. That speaks volumes to me. But then you literally cyber stalk him to find him on Instagram. Do you honestly believe that this will make him feel safe? It won't. Trust me. My advice. If you truly want to change your ways, start by volunteering for causes like Trevor Project or something similar in your area. Start becoming involved and making a true difference in the world, so other kids can have a safe space when their own parents reject them. If your church teaches homophobia, stop attending that church and find one that is inclusive. They do exist, believe it or not. Basically, I'm telling you to start working on the man in the mirror and be the change that your son would be proud of. Until you do that, you have no hope of reconciling with your son. Do not contact him. Let his friend know that you would like to speak with him, but let him make the first move. Do better. Commenter 3. YTA for having made homophobic comments in front of your gay son, which ultimately made him feel unacceptable to you. But I do feel, if you are ready to truly accept and love the man he is, then some effort to heal the divide between you is in order. That said, you have to be willing and to be able to accept him, not just be nice at first and then try to change him. He clearly left because he knew you would harangue him for this. I have a gay grandson. Sadly, for religious reasons, his parents do not accept him. It was a very painful journey for him, but he has worked through this, and now he totally rejects his parents. It's a mess, but I can tell you that my gay grandson is one of the finest persons you could ever find, and that, to me, is what matters in the measure of a man. Don't bother to try to reconnect unless you can truly stand up for him and accept him. He left, I'd suspect, because he cannot count on you for this kind of treatment. To answer your specific question, NTA for wanting to reconnect with your estranged son, if you can do, so with an open heart and mind. Update. 2 days later. Hello everyone. I posted days ago about my oldest son Wyatt, who moved out at 18 because he was gay and scared of rejection. Your response was overwhelming, as harsh it was, the truth was necessary. As you advised, I decided not to contact him yet, ready to make efforts to prove him I've changed when I do contact him. But I also decided to tell my wife and my other son, William. So I sat them down and told them what I told you guys, how I met one of Wyatt's friends when I was out, how he told me everything about Wyatt, and how much we should all love and support him regardless of who he is, etc. And that's when the shocking news come. William already knew everything. Apparently, 6 months after he left, Wyatt called William and told him everything. William didn't tell me much about what was said, but I know that they kept in contact. They text on a daily basis, and that Wyatt asked him not to tell anything to us. William, always loyal, did just that. Long story short, my wife was crying because she didn't realize how awful she had been acting, and William ended up texting Wyatt to tell him we knew somehow and that we loved him no matter what. Then Wyatt called me later, and while it was awkward at first, it quickly got better as we were catching up to life. That he was struggling with students' loans, but that he was still sewing great. I offered to gather money for his tuition, and he said, "I'll think about it." We talked a lot more. It was mainly my wife and I apologizing and telling him how much we love him, not matter what, and that we're proud of him, that we are willing to change for him. He said he will be calling us in a few days, and he will maybe visit this weekend. I genuinely didn't expect things to go this way, and I realize I'm so lucky he's even willing to talk to me. I swear I'll make it right and love him no matter what. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. You and your wife are really lucky he will even talk to you. I can only imagine what he heard over the years from you two to make him leave the way he did. OP. I am well aware of this chance and extremely grateful for it. I will make it up to him, no matter what. Commenter 2. Well done. A tip. I know you offered money to help out, but right now, it can come across as buying forgiveness or bribing him. If you do want to help him financially, it's important that you clearly communicate and stick to that there are no strings or conditions attached. If you give him money and then bring it up when he doesn't visit often enough or don't forgive you fast enough, then you've poisoned the well twice over. Let him know that you want to help, but understand that it's not a fast ticket to his good grace and that you won't push it. OP. Thanks for the advice. Commenter 3. You're doing exactly what a good parent should. Taking responsibility, owning your mistakes, and showing unconditional love. The fact that Wyatt is open to reconnecting speaks volumes about his love for you too, despite everything. It's amazing that William maintained that bond with his brother and that your family is taking steps to rebuild trust and create a more supportive dynamic. Keep showing up for Wyatt. Words are a great start, but actions will show him you truly mean it. Wishing your family the best as you move forward together.